All right. This week on The Big Show, the Woman King wins 6 Black Reel Awards, and we honored a plethora of Black celebrities, including Angela Bassett, Deborah Martin Chase, F.E.T. Brown, and Kerry Washington at the 23rd Annual Black Reel Awards. Plus, we'll discuss several upcoming shows, including My Dad, the Bounty Hunter, Bill Russell, Legend, Shrinking, and Hello Tomorrow. And we'll also talk about the life and legacy of one Burt Bacharach. Got a good story. So you didn't think there would be a Burt Bacharach story today. We'll have all that and more on episode 525, Keeping It Real with FilmGordon. 525. Yes, let's go. All right, and welcome to the latest episode of Keeping It Real with FilmGordon. I am Tim Gordon. That is Charles Kirkland Jr. Charles, how you doing, brother?
I am blessed and highly favored today. Thank you for having me.
I bet you are blessed and highly favored. You've been like on a conference, a biblical. What have you been doing all week? Talk to the people and tell them what you've been doing all week.
I've been in Kansas City, so I've missed the Black Reel Awards doing an evangelism conference at the Midwestern Theological Seminary.
Well, you know what, man? Look, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's what's up. So, you're doing the Lord's work for real.
For real, yeah.
Yeah, man. So, you missed the show. I mean, I'm not gonna. You watched it, right?
I watched like not even half of it, maybe a quarter of it.
Okay. So in case anybody is unaware, we sporadically talk about the projects that we produce in addition to the podcast that we do every week. And of course, one of those projects we produced on Monday night. Charles Kirkland, of course, is the head writer for the Black Reel Awards. I am the founder and his executive director and blah, 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 all that stuff, man. I always try to downplay it. But we had our show on Monday night, and I'm not really the one to ask because I'm too close to it. But you can go online and Google Black Reel Awards and read the reaction, which I thought was very strong. Charles, we talked a little bit before I get into the show. We had a bet, or not a bet, but we had a over under. Remember that?
Yeah.
I was working, and for those at home who don't know what we're talking about, last year on the Black Reel Awards show, we had viewers outside of the United States, and I think I told you, Charles, we had 18 countries that had at least somebody from 18 countries that watched the show outside the United States. And I haven't finished yet compiling because I was going through and I wanted to be very detailed that if we were getting multiple countries, I wanted to see the cities. And I'm still not done, Charles, but I think where I left off at, I think I was at 16. So I think the answer is going to be we're over. Because both of us thought we would be over 18 this year. Oh, yeah, the global reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, and I'm still going. So for those at home here in America, when we talked about the global reach of the Black Reel Awards, some of the countries, I'm not going to go through the whole list, but some of the countries, India, Korea, Poland, England, Mexico. We have viewers, of course, in South Africa, Canada, Brazil, multiple spots in Brazil, multiple spots in South Africa, Australia, Nigeria, the Philippines, Italy, Austria, Portugal, Finland, Colombia, Indonesia, Taiwan, and Barbados. We're all taking in the words, and that's not even the full list. You said earlier
what next year I'm gonna sit in on the Barbados watch party. I'm gonna be down there with them.
Well, we'll talk about that offline because somebody came to us with a proposal to do watch parties and set that stuff up. But we talked a little bit about this last week, and you said earlier when I asked you how you were doing, and you were saying you were blessed and highly favored. And I'm just here to tell you, And I know the folks who are anti-Christian or atheists who don't believe, y'all can just go away for about 10 seconds because I need to say this. God is good. And I, Tim Gordon, have I've been there since day one, right? I was there when the idea was given to me, and we have kind of put it out there. And I remember, so every time we have all of these warm conversations about, oh man, the Black Real Awards are this, and woo, bruh, I was there at the beginning. And I tell that story all the time, Charles. Never forget the origin of a thing, man. When we were standing, it was funny. I was looking at some pictures, maybe yesterday. No, I'm sorry. It was early today. I found, if you go on and Google, there's a Black Real Award trailer that I think we made back in 2015. And that trailer covered 3 of the first 4 live shows we ever did. So there's clips on there from the first show, the first live, in-person show in 2002, I think again in 2005, and then the one that we did in New York in 2012. And, you just kind of see the evolution along the path in order to get to 23 years, in order to get to being the longest running film exclusive award show that honors Black people. I mean, so it is a journey, man. So having said that, let's go into the show of what Charles missed. Of course, we had 4 honorees this year, and we, of course, honored Angela Bassett, Kerry Washington, Deborah Martin Chase, and F.E.T. Brown. 3 of them, everyone except Kerry Washington showed up. Angela Bassett gave an amazing speech, which I was like, wow, accepted the Sidney Poitier Trailblazer Award. We had 2 people, Charles, which you haven't gotten there yet, who honored and feted Deborah Martin Chase. It was Sally Richardson Whitfield, the director. And then we also had Casey Lemons that came on and had warm, wonderful remarks to introduce her to get her Oscar Micheaux Impact Award. And then I thought by far the funniest one was Tasha Smith, who came on to talk about her best friend, Angela Bassett. That was funny. That was really well done. Viola Davis, of course, and her husband, Julian Tennant, accepted Best Picture this year, had a wonderful speech. And there were lots of really wonderful moments that happened throughout the show, man. So I was very impressed. We're not exactly where we need to be yet, Charles, but we're a lot farther than where we've come. So we still got work to do. I think we're now gearing up for the 7th annual Black Real Television Awards, which tentatively, I don't have a date yet in August, but I've got 2 dates. So let's just say August of 2023. So coming up in 6 months, it's going to be time to honor the best in television for the Black Real Awards. And
speaking of which, I was highly impressed by your press tour that you conducted for the Black Real Awards, being on several news outlets and repping the show quite wonderfully. I thought for a man of your age, you did quite well repping our show.
Oh, man of my age. Wow, that's funny. That credit goes out to our publicity and communications director, John Tucker, who was sitting in Los Angeles and put together a tour in Washington, D.C. So, we did the Washington Informer. I think we did every local television station here in D.C. minus the NBC affiliate. So we covered ABC, CBS, and Fox. We also did WTOP radio. So yeah, it was and then also Deadline Hollywood carried our press release after the show. So it was a rousing success. And for me, honestly, it's not about the show. It's about all these Black folk who were honored this year. Who, Charles, I mean, they were passed over by another show, which we will not name. So congratulations to the Danielle Deadweilers and the Viola Davises and I'm trying to think of who else got recognized.
Elegance Bratton.
Elegance Bratton was, Jeremy Pope won Best Actor as well as Breakthrough Actor. So there were a lot of kudos that went out. And, I made a statement on one of those shows, one of these morning shows, about us being a safety net. And I was told we're not necessarily a safety net, man. We are the vanguard of the Black Film Award movement, man. And our show is a major show. It has been around for over 2 decades, and we have honored, I don't know, anybody who's everybody, from a Denzel Washington down to everybody. So Charles Kirkland is a part of that legacy. So thank you, brother, for the work that you have done and will continue to do in the future. We do not take it for granted. And that goes out to anybody on our team, which we have an amazing team of people.
We do.
Put a lot of work out, man. So congratulations to you. So Charles, did you have any other comments about anything you watched at the Black Reel Awards? Anything you saw that jumped out for you?
Well, it's always an awe-inspiring moment when you hear the words that you've written come to life and from voices that are not your own.
Right.
So I was thoroughly impressed. And of the 24 awards, correct me if I'm wrong, we had 20 acceptance speeches.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're recognizing people and they're recognizing us. So I think kudos go out to the whole staff. Like you said, it was a great show. Hopefully I'll get to finish watching it tonight. Right. But, I already know everybody who won and all that stuff. So I'm just...
Well, you're not watching it for that, man. You're watching it.
For me, it's more of... It's kind of weird. I can't describe it. And when you've written something and somebody reads it, so you know what they're going to say, but the way they say it and everything, so your tear drops every time I hear something. So that's why I haven't been able to just sit down and just go all through it, because I just get touched by all these people who are contributing to the show. So.
Yeah, and deservedly so, man. I think it's funny. Monday night, of course, it's funny. I think at some point I should author a book to talk about the stuff that people just don't know, right? Like I don't even think Charles, because we haven't had a chance to really talk about what show days had been the last, I don't know, we started doing virtual back in 2021. So we've now done, I want to say, Charles, if I'm correct, 6 virtual shows from 2021 to now, right? No, I'm sorry, 5, because we've had 3. We've done the 21st annual, 22nd annual, and 23rd annual Black Reel Awards, and we've done, because the 7th is coming up in August, so we've done the 5th and the 6th annual Black Reel Awards, and that's all been virtual, right? And by the time it's showtime, after we've dealt with, and I'll just say this, as much as I can give you behind a peek behind the curtain, the last 5 times we've done these shows, there's stress, a lot of stress at the beginning of show day. Like every show day, when I wake up, I'm like, here we go. Oh my God, I just want to get this thing on. The last 5 times we've done this, right? That's spirit. So that happened earlier this week. And of course, I was on the phone, which happens every show day, that you're constantly having lots of conversations because there are lots of people on the team and you're trying to check on stuff and you're trying to make sure everything is tight. And by the time the show aired, man, I collapsed on my couch. And I had the TV on, so I was watching the show, and it was interesting, just kind of watching it. And you, at some point, you just get hit with, like you just said, Charles, that feeling of that just kind of overwhelms you. It's pride, it's being very humble, it's looking at something and you're like, wow. I mean, this show, and Charles knows this, that these are conversations we have. It's like, okay, I think we should do this year. We're going to do these categories. We should go after these people. And then to see it, it's almost like, if when you read the Bible and it's like you take some dirt and form it into a person and go, and that person walks around, you're like, oh snap, that's hot. that's what it feels like, or the best explanation I can say of designing something that is an idea that's in your head that you put down on paper and then it becomes reality. It's a very interesting place. And I think everybody who's ever been an entrepreneur, whether it's you designed a hat, whether you have a multi-million-dollar business, everybody feels the same way. You've heard the stories, Charles, where people talk about, man, where were you the first time you heard your record on the radio? That's what it feels like.
And to bring it all full circle, right, we're all made in the image of God. And so when we get to be creative like he has been, and even though it's not perfect like he can do, right, we are in the presence of greatness.
There you are, bro. So there it is, man. So that would be my Black Real Award recap. I wanted somebody who had watched the whole show to be on, but all those people are busy today. Wilson is out. Wilson is out in Savannah doing a junket there, and Lanita Cook is developing a show. Like all our colleagues, man, these guys are all ballers, man. That's why anytime they stop down and give up their time, whether it's Sean Edwards, whether it's Jamal Finkley, whether it's Lanita Cook, these folks are all busy, man. So, in order to get any of those people, Omar Moore, you get all these people to contribute to the show. Hey, man, thank you. That's all I can tell you is thank you. You spend 30 plus years being a film critic, screaming at people like Charles, like, I've been doing this thing all these years. There's an advantage to doing something for a long time. You build lots of friendships and lots of relationships. And for something like we're doing right now, it all kind of comes to fruition, man. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Black Real Award show. And if you want to watch it, you can either go to two places right now. You can go to our YouTube channel, Black Real Awards, YouTube at Black Real Awards, and the show is there. Also, you can go to blackrealawards.com and you can watch it on the site. So either way, the show is going to be there for a minute. Really watch the show. And also, as you're watching the show, watch it in the spirit of understanding that there are a lot of people that are either presenting or who have been honored who will not be on some other shows that people deem to be a little more important. Look, I'm not being mean. I'm just saying that year in and year out, there might be some years where, that other show will have a lot of people that you want to see. And then there's some years like this year where they won't have that many people. But through it all, we got them people every year. Take it for what it's worth.
There's some wise thoughts out there that some people need to stop looking at other shows for affirmation and find true affirmation within ourselves.
You got to celebrate. You got to support the people that celebrate you. And that I'm not just saying that because it's us. I'm just saying that whether it's Celebration of Black Cinema, AFCA Awards, BET Honors, whatever show it is, the Image Award, whatever show it is, if they're supporting people that look like you got to support that. So, and I'm down because I'm a part of that community of those people. So, all right, Charles, let us segue now, man. We got about 40 some odd minutes left in the show. I've been watching a lot of television this week and also doing a lot of junkets. Later on the site, if I were you, I would go back and check. There were some interviews that I did earlier this week for My Dad, the Bounty Hunter. I'm just going to apologize in advance. You can't really do a junket the night after you do an award show. I was punchy. Those were not good interviews. I'm just, Charles, look, there's one interview in there that's so bad that when I came on, I was like, hey, I only got 5 minutes, man. I mean, this is live an interview. I only got 5 minutes, man. I'm gonna ask y'all one question. It was horrible. It was so bad. I almost was like, can you flush that interview and let me go again, because I was like, I had nothing. I'm just being real. If I do a good interview, I'm gonna tell you it's a good interview. Yeah. Look, Charles. Yeah.
Talking points. You have to make your talking points. No, just kidding.
Well, no.
That's an inside
right.
joke.
But here's the problem. I watched it twice, and I had nothing. I mean, creatively, I'm look. I'm just being. It's called keeping it real. I watched it. I liked it, but my head was still in Black Real Award space. So I had not properly transitioned or divided. And I had gotten no sleep because I had to pick somebody up at the airport at 1 a.m. I got about 3 hours of sleep. I was punchy. So it was, I'm just saying that in advance. So when people watch it, they'd be like, oh, that's what he was talking about. Yeah. Those interviews were not
That's
good.
what was wrong with him.
Those interviews weren't good. But I got some coming up. Look, I got some coming up next week. You're going to want to watch those. These are for the Godfather of Harlem. You want to watch these interviews. So we got a couple of those up. I don't even need talking points for this one, Charles. I already know where I'm going with this one. So we got stuff coming up, man. And Charles, I told you, I'm going to be back at the Oxford Film Festival next month.
Without me
as a juror.
Without me again?
Man, do you really want to go to Oxford, Mississippi?
No.
Watch this, y'all. Do you really getting in, flying into Memphis, thinking about Dr. King, going to Mississippi, thinking about Medgar Evers? My mind just works differently, man. I'm just
I've been on the road for 2 out of the last 3 weeks. So yeah, I can afford to stay home for a while.
Oh man. All right, bro. Well, let's go get at it, man. First up, it just debuted earlier this week on Netflix. And I'm a huge, not just historian, but like a sports historian. I'm just a historian in general. So I kind of study on stuff. There's a new series, a limited series that's on Netflix called Bill Russell Legend. And I've watched maybe an episode and a half, man. And I have the same feeling, Charles. I don't know if I've ever articulated this to you, that I have this huge piece in my soul of empathy whenever I watch series like this, right? Where you talk about great people who lived at a time that's much different from the time that we live in now, right? And I think it's funny. You haven't watched it yet, Charles, I'm assuming, right?
No, I have not.
All right.
But I am well versed in the career of Bill Russell.
Bingo. Same as I. So when I watched it, I went in knowing that he won 11 rings and, what he had done at the University of San Francisco and some of what he had to deal with living in Boston in the 1950s and 1960s. And it goes into it a lot in this documentary. And it's funny, man. I recently, I don't know whether it's me getting older, becoming more wiser, becoming more mature, whatever the phrase is. But I watch these shows sometimes and it puts me in the mindset if these people were like my grandparents or my descendants, right? To understand that Bill Russell and other Black people who lived in the 1930s, 40s, 20s, of what they had to go through, not the kind of stuff we go through now. Like we go through now in our society right now, Charles, where it's clear that there's situations that we as Black people or people of color, whichever phrase you want to use, there's certain things that Black men go through that every Black man has got the story of being in a car and you see a siren behind you and that kind of feeling in the pit of your stomach. I don't even have to explain it. If I'm talking to you, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely.
So and then things that Black women experience that are really issues that are their issues that like they all intuitively understand. But Charles, think about it, man. We're doing a podcast in 2023, right? Think about somebody who lived 80 or 90 years ago. And we're talking specifically of Bill Russell. Here's a guy who's making $100,000 a year. He's raising a family with 3 kids in a suburb of Boston. And he goes on vacation, and people who, I mean, they've won at this time 5 or 6 or 7 titles, right? And he goes away on vacation, and they ransack his house, smear excrement on the walls, and write the N-word, defecate in his bed, and rip up his property. And then they get mad because they assume that he's aloof and he's really not that friendly to them. I mean, think about if that's your reality, Charles. It's not that you're a poor Black person, living in a racist society. You're a person of means, and you still can't escape the specter of racism. And that's the takeaway I had watching Bill Russell legend, man. I mean, Bill Russell, this guy played at a time where there weren't a lot of Black people in the league. And as he stayed in the league, more came in the early 60s, the Baylors and Wilt Chamberlain, all these folks started to kind of come into the league. But there's so much about this, man, that you watch it, and like I was telling somebody earlier today, I was talking to somebody on our team, and I said, whenever you watch programs, things that have happened in the past, you either dealing with the Middle Passage, you dealing with slavery, or you dealing with Jim Crow. You dealing with one of these 3 issues, and it's hard, man, being doing what we do, Charles. It's hard sometimes watching some of this stuff without it kind of infecting your spirit, man. Like, you're trying to watch it and you're trying to stay up, and it's just hard. It's hard. But yeah, Charles, when you get a chance, man, I would go to Netflix. And I don't know how many parts it is. I'm watching it right now. I had it on. It's just 2 parts. Okay, so it's Bill Russell Legend, and it's 2 parts of that show. I would recommend you watch it. I mean, the fact that Bill Russell is probably the greatest winner. Him and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar are kind of, to me, neck and neck in their entire careers, Charles. I'm talking about from high school, college, and then the pros. So you think about Kareem, who LeBron James earlier this week broke his scoring record, right?
Right.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won 3 national championships when he was in high school at Power Memorial. He went to UCLA and won 3 national championships for the Bruins, and then he won 6 championships with the Lakers, including several MVPs, blah, 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 right? You can look that up. Bill Russell he was a late bloomer. He didn't really do much in high school, but he did win 2 national championships with the University of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Won an Olympic gold medal and won 11 titles, including 2 as a player coach with the Boston Celtics in 13 years. So I repeat, he played in the NBA for 13 years, and all but 2 of them ended with him putting a ring on his finger, symbolizing that he was a champion. And he played in a city where they never really appreciated him, despite the fact that all he did, as the song said, all he did was win, no matter what. All he did. That's all he did was win. So
there's a famous picture of him when he has all the rings on his hands.
Russell, man.
It's an amazing. It's kind of the combination of Jackie Robinson, although he wasn't the first, but Jackie Robinson and Michael Jordan. I mean, he was just that kind of icon to the basketball world when he was coming up, and he was one of the reasons why I was a big fan of the Celtics when I was growing up, because of him and what they were constantly winning. And
it's really interesting.
Believe it or not, I think he was the first Black player coach.
He was.
Yeah.
Was. And the other thing that's interesting in hindsight, right? And I mean, we're all guilty because the media will manipulate us and have us get mad and believe in stuff, right? In the 1980s, I never forget this, man, when Magic Johnson first comes on the scene, right? And Larry Bird is in Boston. Of course, there's this rivalry that the NBA plays up, Magic and Bird, right?
Right.
Then in the barbershops, you in DC, I'm in DC at the same time. They play this rivalry up about, Bird against Magic, black against white. All the black people riding with the Lakers, all the white people riding with Boston. Now, I say that as we consider that the Boston Celtics in the late 50s and early 60s, and in 1964 became the first NBA team to put 5 starters on the floor at the same time. The Boston Celtics. Casey Jones, Sam Jones, Bill Russell. Who am I leaving out? There's 2. They put some, they had 4 starters. It was Jones, Russell. I'm leaving out somebody of importance that played with
there were 2 more, but I mean,
yeah, but they had a guy, but they were the first team to put 5 on the floor, man. Boston was the first team to have a black head coach.
Yep.
I mean, watch this. Boston might not be my favorite city, and the Celtics may not be my favorite team, but after watching this doc, I might go order me a Celtics 6 and rock it because it's Bill Russell. That's Bill Russell. Bill Russell, when you had these conversations about the greatest of all time, right? Okay. If you're younger, maybe Michael Jordan is your guy. Michael Jordan was never my guy because I'm a little older and I watched other people play. I like Kareem. I think Kareem, the fact that he retired in 1989, Charles, and his record didn't get broken until 2023.
With a guy who plays a significantly greater number of games than he played too. So
and remember, all you LeBronites, Kareem never played in the 3-point era. Nope. Kareem skyhooked his way to 38,000 points. So it's different eras, it's different tastes, etc. I get that, right? I'm telling you, for me, you never will tell me that Jim Brown's not the greatest running back ever. You'll never tell me that Jerry Rice is not the greatest wide receiver ever. You'll never tell me that Lawrence Taylor is not the greatest defensive player of all time. And when it comes to basketball and winning, between Kareem and Russ, that's 23. Watch this. Between Kareem and Russell is 23 titles. I'm sorry, 17 in the NBA, and then you add in all the college stuff they did. So
I might have to debate you on Jerry Rice and with Art Monk, but I'll just say, yeah.
Okay.
The only reason you rocking Rice is because they won so much.
No, I'm rocking Rice because Rice finished with way more touchdowns. Now don't get me wrong, right? In this argument or this discussion, Art Monk was really good. Monk was really good. Right,
and he was
Art Monk ain't Jerry Rice,
and he was the yards leader for a long time and played fewer games than Art Monk did. And if you go back and you look at the record, you're going to see that Art Monk's numbers are very comparable to Jerry Rice. He just didn't play as many games. He wasn't in as many Super Bowls.
Watch this. Look. I just said that there's a hierarchy, right? So, for example, we're not going to have this discussion on the Days show, but we may later on. They came out with a list today of the top 50 rappers of all time, and of course, Jay-Z finished number 1, right?
As he should. I'm
not. It's all taste. Because my favorite rapper finished number 3. So they had Nas at 3, they had Kendrick at 2, and they had Jay at 1, right? Where the issue is when you get into the 20s, 30s, like, nah, bro. I mean, and here, like when we have these kinds of discussions, understand that it's all subjective, right? So when we talk about, like every year when they have these contests, like we just, like I'll use us for an example. We just had critics vote The Woman King Outstanding Film of the Year. Okay. Now, according to our awards, if you put it up against The Inspection, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Till, and Nope, I think those were the 5 nominees.
Correct.
You can probably get a consensus and do that, right? When you're talking about art and you're talking about art is tricky, right? When you're trying to rate people.
Yeah.
And I think part of the problem you run into is that there's really, Charles, not a criteria. So like when we talk about football, right? or basketball. We talk about Bill Russell, and we talk about the amount of titles he won. As a player, playing one-on-one, would he be better than Michael Jordan? No. No way, Jose, right? Wilt Chamberlain, in Bill Russell's era, is a better individual player than Russell. But we check the record books and see that Wilt Chamberlain's teams won titles 2 times, right? Bill Russell's teams won 11 times. So if your barometer is winning, Russell's your guy. If your barometer is personal stats, then Chamberlain is your guy, right?
Right.
It's the same thing with Michael Jordan, right? The thing about Michael Jordan that I respect the most of him, of all these athletes, either Kobe Bryant, all these people, right? Kobe, LeBron. So let's talk Kobe, LeBron, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, right? We talk about winners. You know what sets Michael Jordan apart to me, that of his generation, he's the greatest? He played in 6 finals and won them all. Jordan never lost in the finals. Kobe did. Magic did. Bird did. LeBron has literally lost more than he has won rings. I think is he 4-4?
I think it's even now. I think it's
it might be even now because I think he has 4 rings now, right?
Correct.
But he's also lost 4 times in the finals.
Correct.
I have litmus tests on how this thing works, and when I get to music, it's tricky because and hold on a second, let me pull this up, man.
And don't forget, Mike did it all in one city. The crew may have changed a little bit on that team, but he didn't go run into a stacked team to play and win a championship. I
literally had this conversation today, man, and it bothers me to no end that we live in this era now where, like, they had all these trades last night. I was like, yeah, look, I don't care where Katie and Kyrie and all these guys who bounce around the league. I've lost a lot of affection for what basketball is now as an old school dude, right? So there might be somebody young who loves all this movement. Oh, man, we're going to get LeBron on like 17 before he leaves. It's not sexy, man. It's not, the fact that Kevin Durant, and this is just me, Durant is from Seat Pleasant, Maryland, right? Which is a suburb of Washington, D.C., where we live, right?
Yes.
Charles knows exactly where I'm going with this. I don't know. Could have stayed at home and at least, if you want to bounce, this is your 4th team. You could have, one of those teams could have been your home team. They wanted you. They needed you.
And you can't tell me the way the Wizards just go crazy over people that they wouldn't have paid that man every penny that he wanted and loved on him here in his home city for the rest of his life. He could have retired from basketball and been the mayor of Washington, D.C. That's how much they would have loved him to be here, but he didn't want that.
Excuse me, did you just call the Washington Wizards the Lizards?
No, I said Wizards.
Okay, all right. All right, so I'm going to run this down for you, man. You ready? Top 50 rappers of all time. Rick Ross at 50. Rose, 50. Reverend Run at 49. I got nothing, because...
Okay, well, first of all, why would you separate Reverend Run from the rest of our Run DMC? Okay, I'm just saying.
You're early in this, man. We save some of that outrage, man. We got a ways to go. Melly Mel's at 48. Okay. You think Melly's at 48? Okay. I mean, he did the message and not much else. Okay, that's good. MC Light's at 47. Ooh. Now, remember, I'm going to give you some names, and then you think about the people in front of those people.
Right.
So Light as a rock, okay, he didn't have a lot of input.
I crammed to understand.
This is where next one.
I crammed to understand.
Right. This next one, though, is the one where it's a slippery slope for me. They got Jadakiss at 46.
What?
Meaning that there are 45 other rappers better than Jadakiss. Now, Jadakiss had an album a couple of years ago called Top 5. Like, I'm a top 5 rapper. He is 9 times 5 would be 45, and he is at 46. So they got Kiss. Now, Jadakiss is my dude. He's way too low. That was the sign when I was going through this that this is going to be a problematic list, right? Number 45, Ice-T. Number 44, Queen Latifah. Now, remember, Queen Latifah on this list is better than Ice-T, which I disagree with. Is better than Jadakiss. Queen Latifah had UNITY and she's my homegirl. We from the same high school. Okay, so let's get to 43. It's Bun B. Now, again, I honestly can tell you, I listen to Bun B on Rock the Bells. He has a show. So I don't know enough of Bun B's music to know whether this is low or high. But I can tell you.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Don't cop out. If Bun B deserved to be there, you would know Bun B. Okay. Come on now.
Stop it. Right. What did I tell you about Save Your Outrage, man? I don't want you to peak too early. We still in the 40s.
Oh man.
Redman's at 42. Let me finish. Redman's at 42. E40, who's 1/4 of Mount Westmore, is at number 41. Now I want you to remember that because there are 4 members in Mount Westmore. One of them didn't even make the top 50. And the E40 is at number 41. It says Save Your Outrage. Okay. Now, here's another one that's questionable to me. Number 40 is Dr. Dre.
No. Wait a minute.
Look.
Wait a minute.
You can have outrage here. Go ahead.
I don't want you to continue on.
I'm gonna continue on.
Put Dr. Dre at number 40, you're gonna tell me 40 rappers are better than Dr. Dre. I mean,
no. But here's the part about Dr. Dre that is the outrage.
The rapper, producer, all the stuff that he's done, and you're gonna put him down at 40?
No.
The Grammys. Wait a minute. The Grammys just made an award.
Dr. Dre is not a rapper. Dr. Dre is a producer who just happens to rap.
But I'm saying the Grammys just made an award in the name of Dr. Dre.
No. You're not hearing me.
Okay,
Dr. Dre's hits, his most popular hits are always written by other people. Jay-Z wrote Still a DRE. You got Snoop that writes stuff for Dre. Dre is not a rapper, right? Dre is a producer who happens to rap, right? So, yes, that's problematic that you would put Dre at 40 and one member of Mount Westmore that didn't even make the list.
And Jadakiss.
Who's an actual rapper.
And Jadakiss.
Right. All right, number 39, Luda.
I'm waiting for the Puffy. I'm waiting for when you tell me Puffy.
Which makes my point. Puffy didn't make the list. Right, Puffy didn't make the list. Ludacris is at 39. I told you to save your outrage. Gucci Mane is at 38. Gucci Mane is higher than Ice-T and Jadakiss. Just hold that for a second.
Who made this list?
Hey, man, this is Billboard. Common's at 37. Okay, I can take that one. That doesn't bother me. Mos Def is at 36.
Okay.
That bother me. Future is at 35. Now, again, I can understand people who are younger who would say that makes sense. To me, you got Mos and Common who are raw spitters behind Future. Okay, different styles, different times, right?
Yeah.
Number 34, you'll like this one. Chuck D from Public Enemy. You asked earlier about how you split people up. Chuck D is 34 by himself. Busta Rhymes is 33. Now, here we go again. Busta. Okay, cool. Busta. T.I. is 32. So they put T.I. above Busta Rhymes. Watch this. Maybe. Watch this. Maybe. Me personally, I would have flipped it. Me personally. All right.
Yeah, okay. I see that.
All right, here we go.
Okay,
You
okay.
ready? Watch this.
Uh-huh.
Coming in at number 31 is Lil Kim.
What?
I'm trying to
Lil
think.
Kim?
Think it out for a second. Look. Lil Kim Buster.
Little Kim made
Yeah.
Little Kim was ahead. Wow. Of Jadakiss.
Yeah.
Rev
They got Lil Kim like 50
Chuck D,
spots ahead of Jadakiss.
Busta Rhymes, and you put Lil Kim above all of them?
And I watch this. Number 30 is Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill.
We like Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill's not a rapper.
She is a rapper. What are you talking about?
She's not really a rapper.
She was a dude. She made an album called the Miseducation. Lauryn Hill.
One album.
I realized that, but it was a 5 Grammy Award winning album.
It was.
I mean, come on. Man. And she was a member of the Fugees who made 2 albums that are seminal albums. So Lauryn Hill, yes, absolutely should be on the list. 30 might be, watch this, in my estimation, 30 might be low. I mean, she could be lower to me than 30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 30. Okay, coming in at number 29, and here's another one I can't argue with, Pusha T. If you know, you know.
Okay.
Pusha T is like that. Look, Pusha T. Oh, yeah. Look at this, 28, Black Thought.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Watch this. 27. This is another one for me. Q-Tip. Watch this. I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm just being real with you, right? Again, Tim Gordon would not have put Q-Tip over Black Thought and Pusha T. Now, if it was Tribe, yes. Q-Tip, no. Because again, you're telling me to consider Q-Tip as a solo artist. And I'm like, Vibrant thing, producer. I don't know about that one, man. That was a little questionable to me.
Again, it makes me wonder how they decided to separate people from their groups, because you're gonna have Wu-Tang Clan members all over the place, right? Well, anyway,
maybe Big Pun came in 26.
Not hating.
Like that one. Speaking of Wu-Tang, Method Man's at 25. KRS-One at 24.
Okay.
Watch this. Whenever I hit my chest, people, we approve of that selection. Now, this one right here is questionable. How do I say this without sounding offensive? Look, Charles, you put Curtis Blow at number 23. I mean, Charles. The breaks, Christmas rapping, they playing basketball. Hold on a second, Charles. I'm trying to think. I'm going through his discography. Daydreaming. Remember that one? Daydreaming. Dude, 23? Come on. For Curtis Blow. You put Curtis Blow over Jadakiss, Pusha T, Billboard. Seriously. Charles, Curtis Blow at 23? Now, if you would have said Grandmaster Caz, we may have a conversation. Caz is a hip-hop. Okay, man, watch this. Curtis Blow, if you're watching, this has nothing to do with you. We like you. We just are talking about your position on the
hierarchy of rap.
23? You gave Curtis Blow Michael Jordan's jersey on this list. Wow. Okay.
Oh boy.
Let's keep it moving. Look, Ghostface Killer at 22.
Okay, not hating.
Don't hate at all. Oh, look, it's dark and hell is hot. DMX. Oh yeah. Now here's another one. They put Big Daddy Kane at 20 and DMX at 21.
Well,
watch this. Look,
I give that.
Not arguing with either position, but I'm just saying, I don't know if I would put Kane over X or X over Kane, but okay.
I'd give that a pass. I'm not going to hate too much on that.
Number 19, Missy Elliott.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that one works. Okay, here comes the fun part. You ready? Number 18, Ice Cube. Oh, yeah, we like Cube. Number 17, 50 Cent. Okay, hold, we good. Number 16, Scarface from the Ghetto Boys.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Now, here's the fun part. I'm setting you up. You see what I did? Number 15, J. Cole. Okay. Let me tell you why I dropped my phone. I love J. Cole, right? J. Cole finished ahead of 3 legends, bro.
I'm out, dude. I'm out.
No, man, get back on camera and stop playing. We got time. They put Cole in front of Q, 50, and Scarface. And I'm like, Cole deserves to be on the list, but Cole ain't higher than them 3 dudes. Ice Cube been putting in work for 30 years. Come on, man. Scarface was a part of like an iconic Houston 7th Ward group in the Ghetto Boys and had success on his own with songs like I Never Seen a Man Cry Until I Seen a Man Die, My Block. I mean, Brian Jordan, a.k.a. Scarface, is the man. And then 50? So I didn't agree with that.
We had this little discussion a little bit earlier about basketball and stats and how you compile who's better than who. And I need to know what they were looking at when they're making this list. What are they looking at? Album sales?
I don't know, man. I didn't read enough to find out what the criteria is, but we got 14 selections to go. All right, you ready? Number 14, I wholeheartedly agree, is probably too low. I would have moved them into the top 10, and that's, of course, LL Cool J, who came up with the phrase, the GOAT. Who had a career like LL's from 84, first artist signed to Def Jam, all the way to 2004, keeping your head sprung and all the stuff in between, a career in television, and now owns like Rock the Bells Radio. LL is a legend. He deserved to be in the top 10. All right, so who's in front of LL? Watch this. Who's in front of LL and going into, okay, can't argue with this one. Rakim at 13. Can't argue with that. At 12, Andre 3000. Andre's a rhyme spitter, bro. I mean, I know you're going to say this. Andre is nice. Now, I don't know if I'd have put Andre over Rakim or LL. But Andre is nice. And let me not disrespect Andre Benjamin, because that dude's got mad skills, right? I don't know if I would have put him.
He's the next generation Busta Rhymes to me. I mean, he's got that.
I don't know if I would have put him over those 2 legends.
Yeah.
That are right behind him, but he deserves to be on the list. And then here's where we get ready to fight at number 11. And I know this is generational. They got Kanye West at 11. Kanye's nice. Right, I'm not talking about the Kanye of now, who's like an outcast.
College dropout.
Kanye has a body of work, right? And this is one that I can't be outraged over. I just think it's interesting. Kanye is nice. Now, Kanye is a dual threat as a producer and a rapper, writes his own stuff.
Writes other people's stuff. I mean,
right. I'm not saying that Kanye's not nice. I'm just saying that Kanye's at 11. All right, so let's get to the top 10.
Okay.
We got 10 minutes to go. Let's get to the top 10 because this is going to be discussion. Problem at number 10. Problem. I just told you in the top from 11 to 20, we had people like Andre Benjamin, Andre 3000, Rakim, LL, Ice Cube, Scarface, 50. And then coming at number 10 is Nicki Minaj.
Wow. That's creative. At
number 10 all time, Nicki Minaj. Come on, really? Come on, man. Watch this. Nicki belongs on the list. Yes, she does. Does she belong at number 10 over LL? Look, okay, one more time. It's LL Cool J.
She can't
Do
even
you
pass.
think?
She
Do
can't
you
even.
think? No,
She
no.
can't even pass
Ask me the question.
Kanye. She can't even pass Kanye.
Right, but think about the impact of Ladies Love Cool James, and think about the impact of Rakim, who literally created a style that didn't exist before he touched the microphone. And you put Nicki Minaj at number 10. Now, does Nicki Minaj belong on the list? Absolutely. Should she be higher than Ice Cube and DMX and some? Come on, man. All right. Number 9. I'm sorry. Now, number 9, Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
He is a top 10 artist. He is the dog. Number 8, Drake. Not my cup of tea, but I can see why you got Drake there, right?
You got to respect Drake.
Got to respect Drake. Number 7, Weezy, Lil Wayne. He's top 10. He really is. Number 6, the Notorious B.I.G. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Number 5, hi, my name is what? My name is what? Eminem. Absolutely. He's top 5.
I thought you were getting ready to clown him. I was like, what are you gonna do?
No, bro, no. Pac comes in at number 4, Tupac Shakur.
Okay.
Nasty Nas is at number 3. Kendrick Lamar is number 2. And Jigga, what's my mother? Jay-Z is number 1. Now, we get to the top 5. There's no argument, right? You can shuffle them. You can put them in a bag, roll them, throw them in any order. And you can say Nas. Nas is my favorite rapper of all time, man. He's number 3 on this list. I can respect that. I think Kendrick is nice. I think Jay is nice. Even though we had these barbershop arguments all the time, Charles, between Jay-Z and, who's the best rapper, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas. You can kind of, like, all 3 of them finish in the top 6, right? Which is, okay, I get that. I think Nicki Minaj being in the top 10 to me is kind of like the most egregious one that happened in the top 10. I think that's the one. Like, you can't convince me, if you went from 1 through 9, like Snoop Dogg down to Jay-Z, that Nicki Minaj should be ahead of Rakim. You could pick any person and put in that 10 spot to me, and you'd be nice. I don't know if I put Andre 3000 in the top 10, but between me personally, LL, Rakim could have inhabited one of those spots. Easy for me. So let's talk. We got a couple of minutes left. As you said, Mount Westmore, of course, is Too Short, E40, Snoop Dogg, and Cube. Too Short didn't even make the top 50. Who else didn't make? Fat Joe didn't make the top 50. Trying to think of people who didn't make the top 50. Anybody else that jumps out at you? Jumps out?
I'm sure I'm gonna think of somebody, but right now.
Now, interestingly enough, Ghostface and Meth made the top 50, but not Raekwon, which I find to be very interesting since the Purple Tape, only built for Cuban Links, is a classic. And he was part of the Wu-Tang Clan. You can make an argument for him. Trying to think, is there anybody obvious that didn't make the list?
You said Kendrick was 3, right?
Kendrick was 2.
2.
Nas was 3. Anybody from the 80s? Big Daddy's on the list. KRS-One, Chuck D. Will Smith didn't make the list. But Will Smith might not be a top 50 rapper at all time. I can't think of any.
I might have to debate you on Will Smith. His music was credible. I mean, he did a lot of good work. I mean, he had a lot of successful albums. I mean, he launched his whole career off of rap. I mean, we wouldn't have the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or Bel-Air or anything else. Will Smith is pretty big in the rap world.
And hold that thought. We got 30 seconds.
People didn't like his style because he was a happy rapper, but
As KRS-One would say, cease and second. We got 24 seconds. We get ready to get out of here. That's a wrap for show 525. He's Charles Kirkland. I'm Tim Gordon. As we tell you guys in closing every week, please see something good at the film and movies this weekend. We don't, because we haven't talked about any. Check out the FilmGordon.com and look at our YouTube page for interviews. And remember to subscribe. And we'll see you guys next week. Charles, good job, man. You guys take care, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right.